3, 2, 1. Hello, gentlemen. Welcome to episode 638 of the
Oh
DrunkNerds
man,
podcast.
I'm
I'm
hanging
as
in
always, I'm
there.
Tyler. And joining me, we
But
have
I
the
gotta
man,
admit,
the
man,
myth,
this
the
week
legend
was
himself,
fairly
Sir
difficult, but at the
Colonel
same
Gables.
time,
What's up, buddy?
it was pretty rewarding as well. But when it comes to the realm of video games, yeah, I have played some video game stuff this past week. I most recently bought a deal on the PSN in regards to like a particular set of like games here, and I was actually playing a little bit of it like over the past week, as well as going through a couple other things that I've played already this year. So yeah, it's been kind of interesting in between like the all the other like craziness of work and just relaxing with some sort of things just to burn off some steam has been fairly nice. But how have you been, Tyler?
I'm doing all right, clanging and banging as always. Just getting a little bit a little healthier every week, with still dealing, so dealing with the comeback from the surgery for my ankle and everything like that. Got finally gonna start physical therapy on Monday. Able to walk a little bit more without the boot
Yes.
on and not using the boot at all anymore, which is great. And yeah, it's, take walks. Push myself a little maybe too much at times. But it's one thing that sucks about this is like you don't realize you went too far until after you've already gone too far. It's like an hour later, like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain right now. So, but yeah, no, I'm doing all right. Like I said, it's clean and banging, feeling pretty good. Man, I know weather's like the most annoying thing to talk about on a podcast, but man, today was just like the most like beautiful October day. It was what you want of an
Mm.
October day, whereas like it's just a nice chill. Had the like chilly enough for like no, not too chilly. We had to kick the heat on, but nice enough out. You can have the windows open and just a nice little cool breeze going through. Got the pumpkin candle going. It was a nice little dreary, cloudy day out. It's beautiful. I loved it. Then got to watch some college football. It's great, and got NFL tomorrow. It's gonna be could be a great little weekend, and so only can get better. Yeah. If you guys don't know this, I'm Tyler the Gables. We get together every weekend
Hmm.
and talk about video games, everything love about them, hate about them, everything in between. We've been doing this for over 11 years now. So if you guys like the show, like what we're doing, we really appreciate it. If we don't ask for money, we don't have a Patreon, anything like that. We don't make ad revenue. We just do this for fun because we love it. If you guys want to support us, hit the thumbs up button, leave comments, subscribes. We're on podcast services, Apple, Spotify, all of them. Just search for us there, Drunk Nerds, Drunk-Nerds, you'll find us. YouTube's a big thing we've been pushing, so if you want to help us out there, we really would appreciate it. We hit every metric on YouTube for like making money off ad revenues, except for subscribers. We're getting pretty close to 500, so if you want to help us out, we really would appreciate it. But yeah, anyways, this is the video game podcast. So before though we get to like all the news and everything going on this week, Gables, we got a big weekend next week.
Yes.
So usually we record on Saturday night and then it goes up Sunday morning. Next week we're gonna kick that to a day. We're gonna record Sunday night and go up Monday morning because it is my favorite slash least favorite day of the year. That's right, it's Extra Life.
Mm.
Extra Life is a really great charity that Gables and I've been doing for over a decade now. This is my 13th to be Gables' 12th year.
Yes.
We're doing 24 hours straight playing video games on Saturday. If you guys want to sign up or are interested in donating or telling your friends about it, just do extra-life.org. We'll put a link down in the description below if you want to just click on and take a right to the page or right to the website and give all the information about it. They've been doing, I think, over 15 years. I think this is year 16 of it.
Yes.
Raised over $100 million in that time. All the money goes to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So you can if you sign up yourself or anybody you think might be interested, sign up. You can pick any hospital you want in the United States or Canada. So if you want to do all that, be fantastic. Like I said, Gables. Sorry. Like I said, extra-life.org is where you go for that. Like I said, we'll be doing that. I know Gables unfortunately has to work, so he's not gonna be able to do it all in one day. He says he's gonna be breaking it up. I will be doing it on Saturday though. I'm looking forward to it. I got a bunch of stuff planned. Just a few little quick tips before we get into it, in case it's your first time. Few things. Eat smart. I'm a big guy. I usually don't eat smart, but I will say on Extra Life Day, I do a decent job of eating smart. Don't get like too crazy with caffeine and carbs and all that. Like you don't want to crash or eat too many carbs or too many fatty foods or whatever. You like get tired midway through the day and then you got to take a nap. So eat smart. Try to don't overeat all that. Have more games than you think you need. That has definitely bitten me in the ass a few times where I'll go in. I'm like, I got these games I'm gonna play, and then like you just sometimes you're just not feeling those games, or if you've been
Yes.
saving games for specifically this moment, and what if you're 2 hours in? I'm like, I don't like these games, and then you're sitting here and you're like, I don't know what to play now. Like this was going to be the game I was gonna play all day and or a good chunk of my day. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, I don't. I got like 15 hours ago, and I don't know what to do. So definitely been there before. So plan to have if you think even if you only even if you only end up playing 3 or 4, but you had 7 or 8, perfect, fine, and don't feel the need to break off. I know some people like I see people have schedules. I get if you're like maybe Twitch streaming, you want to have schedules, but if you don't have any any reason why, just go with the flow. Don't make it harder on yourself than you have
Hmm.
to. You don't have to do it all in one go. I know people that are, Gables like he's got to break it up. I know a lot of people have done that. Like they've done 12 and 12. They do 12 hours one week on Saturday and 12 hours the next, or they do a little like 4 hour chunks throughout the week. So do we can. If you have friends maybe that aren't participating in Extra Life, but maybe you can get like a nice gamer night going, or like get some friends together, play some games. Always way to go. It's really great, especially when like it's actually really great to have people that they aren't even on Extra Life, but they just want to come and hang out with you, and like
Yeah.
especially in those late nights that you're doing it. If you're doing like overnights, like I used to do, like Gables and I used to do for years. We would do like we'd start first thing when we just woke up in the morning, so it was like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we had
Yep.
to go all night. And it's just nice having like a friend jump in or a couple friends jump in and play games with you, or just hang out in the party chat with you, and and they come in with an energy, and they just kind of keep you energized and stuff. It's because sometimes it's great having people to do extra life with, but sometimes it's like you're just like 4 or 5 people sitting in a party chat and you're all exhausted because you're like 18 hours in, it's 4 in the morning, and it's like you're not really doing like it's nice to have those people to talk to, but it's like man, it's nothing better than having some friend jump in at 2 o'clock in the morning just to bullshit with you. Uh,
Oh, absolutely. That can power you up like, oh man, that could power you up for at least the next couple of hours and stuff like that. If you have someone that's fresh, that's like just enters in and stuff, and is like full of energy and this and that, and you're just chiming along with them and stuff. I mean, that's an important thing to have like a ringer just in case.
yep, yep, yeah. So yeah, things like that. Trying to think of what eat smart. More games you need. If you can't do it, you can't do it. I talk about like the one time I didn't do it. Was the case where I didn't. A lot of these rules that came up with is because I failed, like because of one extra life where I failed, where I saved like Recore, a really bad game. I saved 4 extra life. They did a bunch of updates and patches to fix the game because it was like it was like no, it was a good game here. It just needs a lot of updates, and I went and played it, and the game was terrible. And I was like forced my way through it, and then I fell asleep playing the game in the middle of the night. But also, the problem was I ate like my sister brought me ordered me food from some noodles place, and I ate a giant fucking bowl of like 4 cheese noodles, and ate a bunch of pizza rolls that day. So I was like I just want quick easy snacks, and I was like cool, pizza rolls, quick easy snack. Fucking dumb. Don't do that. So like a lot of, and like I said, like if you like sometimes you go in like the last couple of years, Gables and I have like we've gone through and we played through the whole 24 hours with and only played 1, 2, or 3 games. So, but like I'll go in. I still try to go in with like 6 games or so with like a general idea what I'm gonna play. Because sometimes like you're just maybe you like this game, but it's just not clicking. You're just not feeling it at that point in time. Or
Yeah.
so it's just nice to have options jump around on. So I don't. I'm trying. I think that's everything really. I mean, Gales, I don't know if you want to throw anything else in there.
Honestly, I think you pretty much covered over the basis of what we generally do during our extra life type of stuff. Plus, yeah, pretty much just play any type of game that you feel like you want to play at the moment, you know. Sometimes it's just like what Tyler says. You start playing a new game, you think you're gonna last like a good chunk of your extra life, and then it just turns out you hate it like about 10 minutes in.
Hmm.
And that's when you have to have those type of backup stuff. Like keeping like a little list or something of the games you want to try out during extra life. Make sure you have them downloaded beforehand and stuff. So that way, whether you're playing on the PlayStation 5 or your PC or wherever, you have some backups just in case. I know, for instance, for me, I usually have my games generally downloaded beforehand, normally, unless we or instead of a group party and we wanted just to download like a specific game off of like say PlayStation Plus or something or Xbox like Game Pass or something like that, then we can do something sporadic like that. But
Yeah.
if it's just you on your own, raising money, maybe live streaming to your audience or whatsoever, having a good solid list of games you want to try to play, or maybe a good multiplayer game or two to where you can have your community join with you. I mean, that would be the most ideal in terms of a base.
Hmm.
But yeah, other than that though, it's completely up to you how you want to try to orchestrate that.
Yeah. So yeah, like I'm going in. I got like I got 3 games just coming out like the week before, which is just perfectly timed out. Like Black Ops 6, I'm saving the campaign for that. Uh, Life is Strange Double Exposure. I don't know how much I'm gonna put left of that to play because by the time we get to Extra Life, but I have that on there. And Dragon Age Veilguard is one game I probably think will be like the bulk of it. But then I have like I have my Madden college football to play. Try to get some friends together for maybe some Helldivers 2 in there. Yeah, and sometimes just go with the flow. Like also a couple other things for it. Make sure your games are updated before you get in there
Yep.
because that sucks more than like it's better now. Like this was better like last generation where the games took longer to download, or like 2 generations ago in like 360 and PS3 days where you go to like play a game. Oh god, there's a 2 gigabyte update, which is nothing now, but like back then I was like, well fuck, like it's it's
Like,
20. This
like an
might be 20 30
hour.
minutes. Yeah, or an hour. Yeah. So yeah, but make sure your games are updated and all that. And have games downloaded, ready to go. Like I said, like that's what I mean by have games prepared, ready to go. And then yeah, like there's times definitely where like someone jumps in and just wants to play a random game with you, and you just download a game. And so like I said, that's why I always like just don't stick to a schedule. Just jump around how you feel. And also, actually, before we get most important part, take breaks. We're not doing this for literally
Hmm.
24 hours. It's funny when I try to tell people that, and like in a weird way, they're like, so you're not actually doing it for 24 hours. I'm like, I am, but I'm not. Like it's probably like 22 hours out of this whole thing, 21 hours maybe. Like like take every few hours or so take a break. I have a dog who needs to go potty every now and again. So if it's nice enough outside, take him for like a nice little go outside, touch some grass and all that. And also I think the biggest thing, honestly, a big thing I've learned over the years. Um, I don't know how people like their shower schedules are like. I always like taking showers at night anyways, but I like to save my shower for that day, like like towards the end, especially like when you're really starting to drag. I find like a nice shower kind of just like you just feel better. It kind of raises
Mm.
the morale a little bit. You feel a little better. Obviously you're cleaner, so you just feel a little nicer. So yeah, stuff like that. Like just have a be ready to go. Just have like I said, I would honestly being over prepared is probably in one of these cases is probably better. But yeah, we'll be talking about that next week. That's why. So remember next week, the podcast will be going up on Monday morning instead of on Sunday morning. There's a
Yes.
goddamn fly in my apartment. It got in here a couple days ago. And it's driving me nuts. Moving on, Gables. Let's get some of the news here. When I'm gonna kill that fly. I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna kill him. So one of the big things Gables been going on. We talked about a couple weeks ago, but it's kind of blown up a little more on for the Pokemon, the Terra leaks, I believe is what we're calling it now.
Yeah.
Over a terabyte of leaks has come out there. A bunch of stuff has come out. We talked about it like literally the day it happened, like hours before. We did like a whole breakdown on it. The main thing I
Yeah.
want to talk about here though is the Pokemon Legends Z-A Plaza. I see people calling it. Um, so we got some more information, some more leaks coming out of this one. The leaker that got all this stuff that hacked everything, got all this. He said that he's not releasing like source codes or too much about like he's not releasing all the information about it. Um, Apparently he's played through the game. He said he enjoyed it. Um, like
Of
I
course
guess
he has.
he's got more information apparently on like the Switch 2 and stuff like that. But he's waiting and stuff like that. He said the same thing with Scarlet and Violet because they're still doing updates and stuff like that. He doesn't want to release too much information that might cause them to get canceled. Kind of screw over the fans, I guess, in a sense, which was cool, I guess. But we got a lot of interesting information to come out of this, and this isn't just rumored stuff. This is like actual like emails and conversations and like document stuff that like has been found from this. Um, so from the Pokemon Legends ZA, apparently this was come out last holiday. That was the original
Yeah.
idea. It got delayed, and I think a lot of us were assuming like they never announced other than all they ever said was 2025. So I think all of us were assuming this was gonna be like the big holiday 2025 game for Switch 2, or maybe like a launch game for Switch 2. Apparently that's not the case. So obviously, like I said, this was to come out last holiday, or I guess actually this holiday. And like basically this will come out in a few weeks. Uh, Now apparently, so in the documents, they have a date in there for May 30th, 2025, which I guess probably should be done this before. Man, what day is that on? Because now Nintendo games come out on. So apparently this date, like in the documents they have, this was the date, um, like this. So this is a Friday, so it could be, I guess. So this date was in there like I think either January of this year or January of last year. That was like the a planned date
Mm-hmm.
for this game. So obviously it could have moved. I believe now it's planned between April and July. At least as
Okay.
like a few months ago, it's planned to come out sometime late spring, early summertime. Um, it's apparently it's only being worked on for Switch One, not even necessarily Switch Two. Um, so this is some information for Gables here. There'll be new megas, including Mega. Let me try this. Zygarde.
Okay. Mega Zygarde.
Okay,
Okay.
and then Ziora. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay,
Zero
so
or Zero. Yeah, it's fine.
okay, this one it's not set in the past. It looks like from some of the information they're seeing, it's not set in the past, so it's not like the last Pokemon like Legends Arceus. This one, they believe it is set after the events of X and Y, but it could also be like before it. But it is, it's closer to modern day. The art style is closer to like Scarlet and Violet. Um, Mabel from Team Flare will be a part of the game. I don't know if that means anything. Like people, I've seen multiple people post that. I don't know if that's significant to people. And then this is a big thing I've noticed multiple people talk about. Stunfisk is in the game. I don't know why that matters, but I see multiple people mention that.
Okay.
Is there a reason
That's
for?
such a random Pokemon just to have right there. I mean,
Okay.
well, Stunfisk was a Pokemon that was introduced in Gen 5, but at the same time, I think that's just a random blurb that they already know. Like, okay, well, this Pokemon's going to be officially inside this game. That probably
Okay.
was not in it before for
Yeah, I
Gen
don't.
5, maybe.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. But yeah, I also read over some bits of the rumors in terms of the Z through A. I mean, I don't think that this is going to be Switch One only. I mean, this is at so farther along and stuff to where I think this is going to be one of those hybrid sort of games and stuff. Personally, I'm not too sure about the rumors of legitimacy of just having this be on the Switch One.
Yeah, well, and the problem it's also like I said, like that release date for May 30th was from last January. So who knows how old that
Yeah,
information and seeing the fact this was delayed from this holiday to next year, maybe it was supposed to be a Switch One game and then now it's getting delayed. Maybe they're like, okay, we're gonna rework this to be like like a both generations type of game.
well, yeah, you can't really dismiss that they probably looked at it and it's like, oh God, the Switch is kind of like falling off faster in sales than we thought. So this has got to be so farther along now that we have to go through and probably have some form of a update rendering thing or a port for the next system. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. The other ones in terms of this thing, Mabel, I believe Mabel was actually a part. I'm not too sure because I haven't played through X and Y in kind of a while. I think she was one of the Elite Four members that was a part of Team Flare. I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that she was an important character from Team Flare. And spoiler warning for those, since apparently, according to Z through A, this is going to be taking place sometime after the events of X and Y. That means after the events of the whole thing with like Lysander and stuff like that, and the whole like doomsday weapon type of dealy thing. But yeah, it's gonna be rather fascinating to see like what else like just comes out from like Z through A. I mean, some of these little tidbits I've heard of already, like the whole Mega Zygarde, Mega Zrara, or some of that sort. I mean, I honestly expected this 100%. A lot of the cut content from X and Y to begin with had references of like say Zygarde as part of like something a part of like some cut content and stuff like that. I mean, X and Y, if you go through some of these little leaks that's been going on for the Terror League stuff, I mean, they cut a good chunk out of the original X and Y.
Was that
Like,
called Southern Region or something? Was that the
yeah,
one?
it was the southern region
Yeah.
that they cut off, alongside of like six different like cities or something like that, into the town or like a couple of towns, like a couple of caves, like dungeons or something like that. So it was a significant cut. And on top of that, like the story from what I've seen in terms of actual like scrapped footage of like certain like videos or whatsoever, it looks like from what I've saw that there was a whole different types of story elements in terms of like say characters like AZ and the T Flare in general. Like Lysander, the main enemy of like X and Y, wasn't originally supposed to be the main enemy. It was supposed to be AZ,
Hmm.
which is the dude that apparently was still the same dude from like 1,000 years ago or some shit like that and stuff that was trying to revive his Floette and stuff like that and this and that. And it's kind of out there. It's I can understand in some parts like once why some of this stuff was scrapped, but yet when you play through X and Y now, there's like huge plot holes in terms of like various things of that story. Plus, it feels like an incomplete game. Absolutely does. Even though there are some aspects of X and Y that were fun and all that other stuff, and I really did like X and Y when it did first like come out and stuff. In the grand scheme of things, that feels like the most lacking Pokemon game in the main series, personally.
Man, still one of my
But
favorites.
I know,
Yeah.
I liked playing through it as well. Like, but for Z through A, it's like I really feel like this game is going to be coming out next year. I mean, if it is going to be coming out close to the summer of next year and stuff. I mean, Gen 10 has to be in 2026 at this point, like what you were saying.
Yeah, yeah, and I think most people kind of assume that, anyways. And it seems like rumors kind of like it's one of those things where obviously after Scarlet and Violet, they probably like, hey, it's better to take the time and add an additional year, especially with like this coming out, like you don't really need it. Um, and then also 2026 being the 30th anniversary, just kind of makes sense to have Gen
Yeah,
10
it
with
does.
it. So it's kind of a perfect way to celebrate it. Also, the last thing I forgot here is that Luminous City is like the whole game takes place there. So this is not like some big sprawling open world like the whole Kalos region. It's only in the main city. Um,
Yeah, Luminos City is like the main hub of like
yeah,
say X and Y.
yeah, because like
So it's
the Eiffel
like
Tower is there, isn't it? Like, 'cause it's
yeah,
based on
sort of
Paris,
like
right?
that. They're
Yeah,
equivalent to the Eiffel Tower. There's a gym there where you face off against like an electric, like a gym leader Claymont or something like that.
yeah, um,
It's that'd be kind of interesting seeing how if this is just a giant open world thing of like Lumino City, that'd be kind of interesting.
yeah, yeah. So I did look up Mabel. She's not in the lead at four. She's like a scientist for Team
Okay.
Flare.
Okay.
Um,
So yeah, that's my bad on that
yeah,
one.
I mean, I don't remember. So I mean, it's been what 11 years since we played that game. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm excited for this one. I'm kind of just curious. Like, Legends Arceus is one of my favorite Pokemon games they've made. I thought, man, it was like honestly going to Scarlet and Violet, kind of like made me dislike it more after playing Legends Arceus. On top of all the bugs and issues with that game, um, was just like come off. It was such a breath of fresh air. Where I was like, oh my god, like this is like the evolution of what I want Pokemon games to be. But obviously, run better than Legends Arceus did. But like like I'd like more like more of a modern day to it, and this kind of like hoping it would be. Hope it's more like Legends Arceus, but modern day. Being in just one city, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like we haven't seen actual gameplay for this. We don't know what it's gonna be like, but like it does. Like when you kind of going off like with your imagination, it's like it's not what I want it to be. Like I don't know. Like I would want like something. I want Gen 10 to be basically what Arceus was. Um,
hmm
just like an open world, like where you're like sneaking and the catching and all that. Like and like we definitely seen the improvements in Scarlet and Violet, like kind of like a in between of those things. Uh,
Right.
but I kind of want them to go more into the arc. So I'm excited though we're getting that they're doing another one of these. Uh, I really liked X and Y. X and Y is what brought me back to Pokemon after I think Crystal was the last one I played before that. Um, so yeah, and like I mean, it's still I would say of like all the generations, all the games I played since other than Arceus is probably still it's probably my favorite of the generation games after since then. Um, so yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Like I hope it is just like what Legend of Arceus is, but like built upon that, and I hope it runs better. That's the big thing. Is like I hope this game
True.
just runs well, and I'm kind of curious like. Like I'm interested in like like what does this mean like if this was only supposed to be a Switch One game. Obviously, like like we don't know how old that information is on some of this. So like I would bet yeah, like if it was supposed to come this year, like I said, it was probably Switch One makes sense. But now like if it's coming and we're all assuming and reports out there are saying springtime for the Switch Two, it would make sense and like hey maybe that like like unless Nintendo doesn't have like unless Nintendo already has something set up for the holidays, whether it's like Mario Kart 9 or something like that. Yeah, maybe you can put like this game. You have the 3D Mario in the springtime, summertime. You have Legends Arceus or Legends ZA, whatever you want to call it, and
Mm.
then maybe like whatever the big thing is in the holidays. Um, and I don't think honestly I don't think it's insane. I would honestly at this point I expect it. I know Nintendo this is not their thing, Normally, when like the new hardware comes out, they just don't care about the old hardware. But I wouldn't be shocked if like we see Nintendo kind of still bridge the gap a little bit with like some of their games. I don't think like I don't think like maybe like their big games like if like say 3D Mario um or like the Mario Kart 9 if those come out I bet those are on next generation. But I bet there's certain games out there whether if there's ports or remakes or like ports or remasters that they have. I wouldn't be shocked, like if they try to put those because there's over 100 like we're talking about like what close to or over 150 million switches out there. Like it'd be pretty crazy to not want to like keep like we see that even up until really like like this year really we're still seeing games coming out today going on last generation. So
Yep.
there's a big marketplace people don't want to miss out on. So and Nintendo is looking at like we're still selling a lot of games on this platform. Let's not completely abandon it. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I just can't wait to see it. I mean, if we don't see the Switch 2, I'm seeing stuff again, Gables, about possibly something announced this week. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's we like it seems like the Tokyo Game Show, and then it's end of October maybe, and then here we are. It's gonna be November here in a few days. And it's like I like if you, at this point like you're so close to you're so close to Christmas and stuff like that. Like like I said a couple months ago, like the Switch, yeah, it's like the Switch is falling off a cliff as far as like sales go, but it's
Yeah.
like it's the eighth year of the console, and then the eighth year of the console is going to outsell what the Wii U did in its lifetime. So
True.
like I still like and you got at this point like it's November, you're getting so close to the Black Friday and the holidays, like you might as well just like as much as like I just want to announce, I just want to see it. You might as well just wait until fucking January or February, like whatever the plan is. But maybe then we'll see it, or maybe they wait till Pokemon Day. I fully expect though, if we don't see it by Pokemon Day next like end of February, if it's not there, like yeah, I mean I think that's the expectation, but be a bit of a bummer. But kind of sticking with like kind of some Nintendo stuff here. Um, so this is kind of something that's coming out here. Apparently, um, Nintendo is working with, talking to, and apparently planning on leaning on a lot of third party developers to help support the Switch One as they progress, with the Switch Two. And it's kind of like what we talked about here.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't be shocked if like Pokemon Legends EA comes to the old generation, especially since it was mostly that was the lead platform for it. But this is from a leaker from Brazil, TVPH. I don't. That means nothing to me. But apparently, he's got a pretty decent track record of like of news. So according to him, obviously take all this with a grain of salt. This is from Nintendo Life. Ollie Reynolds report had this. Uh, they are planning on leaning on third-party developers for the Switch One as Nintendo moves focus to Switch Two. Um, some of the stuff that's out there, like they've talked to, apparently Ubisoft is planning on like doing like remasters of like Splinter Cell Blacklist and Rayman 3. They reportedly have two more unnamed remasters in the works. Bandai Namco and EA are also working with Nintendo to put out remasters of older games. Um, so yeah, so this is like just kind of like a way to like
Hmm.
kind of initiate like a soft, like kind of like a soft transition over from one to the next. And like I said, especially third party developers, they don't really necessarily care about helping the new console. They want to just sell games. That's their care. So I would
True.
that's why we still see them put out games on last generation. Like I think even Call of Duty actually, Black Ops 6 I believe is on last generation. Um, like I think Madden might. I don't know Madden's done. I think last year with Madden. But yeah. So we're seeing that like they're definitely working with them. Also, according to him, Nintendo itself is planning on two more remasters in 2025 for the Switch One, not
Okay.
including the Donkey Kong one. Uh,
Hmm.
he didn't say what they were, but he said one is a GameCube game and the other is a 3DS game.
Oh, interesting.
So obviously, take that with a grain of
Guessing
salt.
it's gonna begin.
Yeah, I'm trying. What are like GameCube games? Um,
That'd be kind of funny. F-Zero GX.
I mean, that's something that's been out there, but I don't know if it's like one of those things where I don't know if it's people like it's so sometimes it's hard to like is this a rumor or is this just people talking, like speculating. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
watch.
Gables like, I mean, what do you think about this one?
I do think that has some form of validity. I mean, if Nintendo is gonna try to prolong the revealing and the launching of their next system and stuff, I mean, this is definitely a smart idea going through and fund certain projects of remasters from other third-party companies to present on your platform. That way, people can go through the nostalgia factor of, oh, hey, I remember this game. I want to play this game on the Switch or whichever. It loops in the existing fan base, and so that's going to definitely play a large role. But at the same time, if they are going to be putting out more like, say, remasters from their own studios and stuff, other than Donkey Kong Country Returns again, um, a GameCube and a 3DS game. I mean, when I think of like, say, the remakes, it's got to be like the first party stuff, right? So it's
Yeah,
like
it's come from Nintendo. I'm pulling up a list here. Like, I mean, obviously Wind Waker could be that game. I'm looking
Wind Waker
here.
could be. I mean,
Luigi's Mansion, maybe.
even Super Mario 3D Land, that thing could be
That could be
there as
the
well.
3DS game. Yeah, that could be
Yeah, the
Pikmin. I think.
3DS game. I mean, think about it.
Yeah,
Even though that was the biggest, like one of the biggest gimmick games and stuff, and the 3DS was first, like, launched and stuff like that. That game came out later on and stuff.
yeah,
I think that year.
yeah. Star Fox
And then,
Adventures.
yeah. Well, Starbucks Adventures possibly, but at the same point, I think that has the least likely chance of being actually remade because of kind of the stigma at this moment for, like, say, Star Fox stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking like Luigi's Mansion, Wind Waker, F Zero GX. Makes sense. They'll probably end up being Pokemon Channel though. Honestly, I'd love to see Four Sword Adventures get ported. That'd be great.
I kind of
Um,
like to see like a Pokemon game for
oh,
like the GameCube, dude. Like,
Metroid Prime 2.
well, Metroid Prime 2
I mean,
actually
that's
could be the
Metroid Prime 2
one.
and 3 are apparently done and just waiting to come out. So, uh, Geist.
But at the same time, though, Tyler, from last one that we heard, they weren't going to be like full on remakes. They'd be like some sort
Well,
of like ports.
well, yeah. I mean, like Metroid Prime was like a in between of a remaster and remake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then 2 and 3 were closer to like ports. So, but these are remasters. He's saying these are Nintendo remasters of GameCube games and the 3DS games. So, Metroid Prime
Okay.
2 or Wind Waker, but I don't know if they count Wind Waker because that's going to be a port of a Wii U version.
Okay. If we're
So,
thinking about that, then it could be like, say, Metroid Prime 2 and like Kid Icarus Uprising.
so
Let's.
well,
Yeah.
that potentially yes, but Bandai Namco, who was reportedly working on that, said they canceled a Nintendo Switch game they were working on with Nintendo
Huh.
last week
Interesting.
when they laid a bunch of people off, or they didn't do the layoff. They put everybody in a room till they quit. Um,
Yeah.
uh,
Jeez.
I'm trying to find like a list of like first party Nintendo games. There's not a good list here. Okay. Trying to think of like what can make sense. Yeah, there's like Link Between Worlds would be awesome. Uh, Bravely Default, maybe that's Square Enix though. Uh,
Yeah, that's Square Enix and stuff. I mean, there are definitely other prominent like GameCube and like 3DS stuff. I mean, it could
yeah,
be even as simple as say like Fire Emblem stuff.
yeah, I saw
You
that
know,
Fire Emblem Awakening, Luigi Mansion 2, and Donkey Kong Country we already know about. Already happened.
Be-
Could be Kid
it would
Icarus Uprising, maybe,
it
but I mean,
could be.
we don't know for
I
sure if it's that's the game that Namco canceled. I just clicked on
with how
something.
hot that Fire Emblem has been really as a franchise and stuff, and how popular it has been since like the whole like, oh god, Fire Emblem Awakening back around 2013 and stuff. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility Nintendo could try to go the realm of maybe remastering.
Well,
Oh,
are there? They already there's that one that like the old like NES one that's being completely remade that's apparently been done forever.
oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah, that one too.
something of uh, is there War? I can't remember the name of the goddamn game.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was thinking of Path of Radiance.
Paper Mario Sticker Star Gables or Triforce Heroes. Could finally we like they remember they told us years ago that we were getting Detective Pikachu for the Switch. Maybe it's finally that. That just never happened.
Yeah,
Um,
watch me Chibi Robo.
yeah, Codename Steam. Oh, I got angry again. I forgot about that game. Fuck that game.
Every time I go by a game shop and they have Codename Steam or something like that, I look at it, I'm like, oh god.
I think this is the
Huh,
closest me and my best
no.
friend Justin almost ending our relationship was him like defending that Steel Diver. But fuck Codename
Oh,
Steam. That game is trash. Hey Pikmin. I'm trying to look here. Uh, Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
it could be like a Kirby game, like say Planet Robobot, possibly, or
yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had a Kirby game in like 3 months, so it makes sense. Uh, Lego City Undercover, the 3DS port.
but we already got like Lego City Undercover like
Did
on
we?
the
I don't remember.
fucking Switch, dude. Like it's supposed to be like a remaster thing. It's on like Xbox and PlayStation platforms too, I think.
I mean, I bought the game. I put it in my Wii U. It's still a loading screen, so I don't know. It's
God,
been
I'm
12
just looking
years.
over the 3DS games I have right now, dude. And it's like I understand like maybe some of them, but at the same point, some of these are like kind of remasters of previous sort of like games in the past. Like say Pokemon ORAS and stuff like that, and
Yeah. Well, it's
even for
like,
like Legend of Zelda, like a Link Between Worlds. That
yeah.
could be something.
What if it's the Ocarina of Time 3DS version ported? Uh,
Now you see, Ocarina of Time had been mentioned as like a rumor to possibly some bit of like a
a remake,
remaster
but
sort of thing.
that needs to be on the Switch too. That's a Switch 2 game.
I do agree, dude. That
Yeah, I
needs
don't
to
want
be
that thing on the
that needs to
Switch.
be a launch game on Switch too.
Or
A
like the
remaster of
holiday
Ocarina.
game. Yeah, if it's not Mario 3D Mario at launch, it needs to be like the holiday game, or that's like a big game. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
It's like there's so many like like there's not. I shouldn't say there's a handful of obvious ones, but it's gonna be like the one like really that one. It's like what was like the stupid underwater game that was like a Wii game that was like bad when it came out.
Endless Ocean.
Yeah, then they put it out this year, and guess what? It was still bad. So,
Yeah.
but this time now you could play with 30 people, and it's bad. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously take all this with a grain of salt. It's just it's just obviously kind of exciting sometimes to kind of like, what if? And I don't know, it makes sense. Like it's like times are different now, where it's like we see now it's like we don't want to like just give up on these audiences. People don't switch over to new consoles as quickly as they used to. Like you
No.
still look at like Xbox and PlayStation, but PS4 and the Xbox One uh, like I think it's like 40% of people still play their games on last generation because they're playing, games service games. So yeah, and there's still an audience there. So I don't, and obviously, I think these things are getting more expensive, and people are gonna be more picky and choosy what they buy. And it's like, hey, I got this thing that's been out for several years, or people are gonna buy a Switch now, or like, hey, I got all these games I'm still playing, or like it's a family platform. All these kids, like my kids, are playing this. So yeah, I mean, I don't think even Nintendo is immune to a lot of these things happening. So I don't know, but I'm interested. I'm kind of curious. Curious how Nintendo decides to move on from the Switch. I don't think it's gonna be as like I said
It's not
hard.
going to be simple.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like I said. I don't think it's gonna be as cut and dry as it used to be. But let's move on here, Gables. We got some fun little one of my favorite things to talk about every month. We got the monthly Circana for September. Um, So some fun little things here. College Football 25 is officially the best-selling football game ever.
Oh,
Beating this is in dollar sales. Beating Madden '07. I believe Madden '07 is still sold um, more copies, but College Football 25 has made more money off sales. Obviously, it's $10 more than what Madden '07 cost in 2006. So yeah, it is the second highest grossing, just based off sales, not microtransactions or anything, by the way. Um, Second best selling sports game of all time, only behind NBA 2K21. And then also FC, the FIFA, or not, EA FC 25 had the best launch ever for a FIFA game or FC game or soccer game, whatever you want to call it. All right, Gable, since you're terrible at this, I'm not even going to try to ask you to guess what's in the top 20 unless you want to make a couple guesses. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
well,
7 brand new games for the month of September in here.
okay, so seven brand new games. Oh my God. Like Astrobot, I think was one of the
Number 2?
ones. That was number two. That makes a lot of sense to me. Um, okay. I already know what's on the list. I mean, it's kind of obvious what's on the list right at the moment. There's got to be a Call of Duty game. There's got to be a Mario Kart 8 game
Oh,
or
well, slow
something
down,
like
slow down.
that.
We'll get through this here. Gables. I'm
Yeah,
going to stop you right there. Mario Kart 8, not on the list.
that is actually
You know what,
surprising.
Gables? I think maybe the
What?
rumors are right. Nintendo, they're going to announce Switch 2 tomorrow. They got to. They have to. It's over.
As soon as Mario Kart 8 gets off the NPDs, oh God, we
Yeah.
gotta get this
It,
going now.
well, it's going to pop back on because it's now part of the Switch bundle in November. And it's fallen off before a couple times, like for a month or two, and it bumps back on. So this isn't the first time it's fallen off, but it is pretty. Like it does have the record, I believe, for the longest. Or no, I think Minecraft might probably Minecraft's kind of had the record. But remember, it did break. It had the record for like maybe it was like box copies or something like that. I can't remember, but I know like Mario Kart 8 had the record at one point for like most.
I can think of one game that released in September that could have made the top 20, and that's the Marvel Fighting Collection.
Gables, you are
Yeah.
correct. That is 16th. It is
Nice.
physical only at this or digital only. So, yep.
Okay, so two games I've actually bought and I've platinum and stuff are on the top 20 of last
Yeah, there is one other
last
one
month.
that you bought in September that is on this list.
Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, most likely did. I just hope I can remember it at this
You
point.
you played it for a few hours.
Silent Hill? No, 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 no.
No, no,
That's this month.
no. That's this month. Yep, wrong console.
Oh, oh, that's right. Wrong console. This was actually on Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's actually for Zelda.
Yep, Zelda is
Yep.
number 4. So, any other guesses you want to make, Gables, before we get into it?
All right. So I've already guessed right. Astrobot, Marvel Fighting Collection, and then Zelda
Yep.
and stuff. Honestly, I think I'm good right there. I don't think I'm gonna
Okay.
remember it too off the
Well,
bat.
you got the hard ones. I thought Marvel vs. Capcom was probably the hard one there. I actually didn't think you get that one. All right, so a few of there's 7 new ones. At 18, Space Marine 2, but that only includes physical. Does not include digital, which is impressive because
Oh wow.
I think on Steam it sold like 4 million copies alone. Um,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. So
That's fairly interesting how some games are just digital only and counted, and all of a sudden it's like
yeah.
the physical ones are counted.
So only a few companies do that. Met Piscilla puts it out every month. I know Nintendo only does digital. Um, Take Two only does digital. Then like it's usually like those are like the big ones. I think they're the only ones that do digital only. And then like a lot, it's usually like a lot of like smaller like third party or like double A companies, smaller companies that only do like the physical copies. I don't know why or physical earns. So I don't know why that is, but obviously this is not like the perfect science here, but it's pretty. It gives you a pretty good idea what's going on, especially nowadays where majority of games bought are digital. So. Um, Anyways, jumping in here. The new games, like I said, 18, Space Marine 2, 16, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Number 9, NHL 25. Number 7, NBA 2K 25. Number 4, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Number 2, Astrobot. Number 1, EA Sports FC 25. Let's jump into the top 20 here, Gables. Get the rest of it. Number 20, falling from number 4, but this makes sense. I think it's gone now. The EA Sports MVP bundle.
Yep.
I don't think now that both games are out, I don't believe they actually offer that anymore. Number 19, Ghost of Tsushima, still holding strong, coming off the
Oh,
Steam, releasing on Steam back in May. Number 18, like I mentioned, Space Marine 2. Number 17, jumping in from 25, Age of Mythology. It did have like the remaster come out in September, so I guess that's why. Number 16, like I mentioned, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Number 15, a big drop off here, but it makes sense. Modern Warfare 3.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, people not buying it because they're waiting for Black Ops at this point. Number 14, Minecraft. Actually, a big drop from 7 to 14 there. But
Huh.
usually this happens. Like the games that are always in there fall down because we get a lot of new games, and they'll go back up probably after the holidays. Number 13 here, Elden Ring. Number 12, jumping away from 144th the previous month. Final Fantasy 16. It did have the
The
release
Steam
on
release.
on Steam. Number 11, Dead Rising. That is the remaster.
Uh,
Came out last month. Number 10 also had a Steam release last month. God of War Ragnarok. Number 9, NHL 25. Number 8, Hogwarts Legacy. Number 7, NBA 2K25. Number 6, Star Wars Outlaws. Number 5, EA Sports College Football 25. Number 4, like I mentioned, Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Number 3, Madden NFL 25. Number 2, Astrobot. And number 1, EA Sports FC 25. So
hmm.
I'm honestly really happy that see Astrobot at number 2.
Yeah.
Obviously like we don't, who knows what expectations are, the budget of that game, but I gotta assume I think they made that game with like 65 people in 3 years, so probably not a huge budget. I'm gonna assume that game is probably very profitable for them, or at the very least made the money back. So
Right.
yeah, I'm hoping that is good enough, and as soon as the game came out, they got the green light to hey, make the next one. That's all I want. That's what I'm hoping for. Just like that, let that team make more of those games. But anything Gables you want to add on that before we move on?
No, I think we can move on.
Okay, cool. All right, well we're gonna jump into what we've been playing. Gables, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first, buddy?
You know what? I'll let you go first this time.
All right, I played a few games this week. I'm gonna run through a couple of these here. So the first thing I did play through Alan Wake 2, the Lakehouse DLC. Came out I believe on Wednesday. I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Not super long. It took me probably about 2 hours to beat. Obviously, it depends on like there is a lot of reading, because like the big thing about obviously like the Remedy games is like there's so much like intertwining between like their games, the Remedy verse, also, and then there's like a ton of like backlog and lore that are in those in the like the emails you can find. You can like log in, you can like hack into computers and stuff like that, and you can find things and like how they tie into. You can find a character from the control in the game. It's minor spoiler for that. There's like just a lot of like cool little things. Some of the stuff I'm like I don't understand what I'm reading here. Like I know there's something here, but I don't understand it because obviously it's like I'm gonna backtrack here. When I run for president, Gables, I'm gonna put in the law that if you put an expansion out a year after your main game has come out, I require like a 5 minute tutorial because I spent a good chunk of time, probably the first 20 minutes. I'm like, how the fuck do I even like go through the like, how do I change weapons? What are the buttons again? Like, and then also like learning the buttons, but also like becoming second nature again for you. So like, I honestly, I spent like probably like the first like third of the game, like just getting like, all right, getting reacquainted with all the buttons and everything. But yeah, I can't wait. Really liked it. Runs concurrently with Saga Anderson's story from Alan Wake 2. We go into like the lake house, which is like one of their facilities where like AEW Otherworld events or Netherworld events. I can't remember what it is now. AEW is basically like the crazy like events that happen in like Alan Wake and Control happen. Something happens in there with this like there's like you go in there. It's like basically like a research facility, and then like it's kind of cool. Like there's like these like two like basically like scientists that are working there like trying to like study these events and like what happens and what's going on with them. But like they're this married couple, but they're both scientists there, and then like they end up like getting mad and like because they're basically just locked into like the lake house but it's actually like a giant underground facility. Uh,
Right.
and like they end up like getting mad at each other and hating each other, and like they end up like almost like competing with each other on these, and which causes this like whole event to happen. And like finding like you like reading the letters like how they're mad at each other. It's very cool like all the stuff that happens in there, but like yeah, I can't wait. I really liked it a lot. It's definitely worth the upgrade for. There is another DLC that came with it. I think is like another hour and a half, 2 hours on that one. But that was more like the fun spin-off thing, and this is like actually like the thing that's gonna like drive the story forward. I assume setting up Control 2 or another Alan Wake game or whatever they decide to do next. Yeah, I came with it. Really liked it. It's just more of what you want. If you are a fan of Remedy, if you're a fan of Alan Wake 2 or whatever, you want to know what's going to go on from there, this is definitely a must play. I thought it was
Mm.
fantastic. It's really good. It's like they don't like sometimes you play these DLCs and it's like you can kind of feel like all right, we're not putting the full budget, we're not putting the full like A team into this one. This is just like cool little side thing for you. And like no, this felt like honestly, the cool thing actually is now if you play through the game like regularly now, just play through Alan Wake 2, this part is actually inside the main game. So it actually is a cool thing. So because it does run concurrently with the main game, it actually becomes a part of it's tied into the game now. Or you could just play it like I did. You could just jump into it on its own and play it separately. So it's pretty cool how they did that. So yeah, big recommend if you were a fan, like I said, of Alan Wake. Check it out now, buy it now, and I think uh, I bought it on sale, so I wouldn't be shocked if there is a sale going on for that. Or probably I think the physical copy's out now too, so you can probably buy it. I think it's a part of that as well if you buy the physical copy. But moving on, Gables. Another game I played. A lot of very similar games. Can you tell it's Halloween time?
Mm.
Another game I played. A big game I've been talking about since they revealed it back at Summer Game Fest. This is the first, I believe, of the Blumhouse games they showed off. They showed like 6 games. The first one that came out, Fear the Spotlight. Very PS1 graphic style. Kind of reminiscent, kind of when I played Crow Country earlier this year as well. That one's like more of like a PS1 like Resident Evil style game. This one kind of has this is closer to like a, I don't know, I would say it's kind of like closer to like a Silent Hill like without minus like any of the action. It's kind of like not breaking any like new ground here. Is like basically you're two girls, like two teenage girls that break into the school in the middle of the night, and you decide to do like a séance because like some like crazy shit happened at the school a long time ago, and you do a séance to try like because legend apparently the school's haunted, and then cool thing happens where like basically like one of your friends you play as trying to remember, I believe you play as Amy, and no, you play as Vivian, and your friend Amy disappears, and like you basically like minor spoilers for the first like little bit of the game, basically get sucked back into like a like where like the events happened in 1991, but it's like this alternate reality of like the school in 1991, where like you have like the spooky like this like monster that follows you around. He has a like a spotlight on his head, obviously fear the spotlight. And like
That
every now and again,
spotlight head.
yeah, like kind of like like from the lighthouse, like from like actual like lighthouse. It's like that's what his head is. And he has like if he catches you with his light, then like he can like suck you in. And eventually like he'll kill you or does damage stuff like that. You can like find an inhaler because she's got asthma, and that's the thing that like kind of like heals you. But it is like it's pretty standard as far as like like all right, I need this, I need to find this item to progress through this like oh, there's a lock on this, I need to find the key, or there's a puzzle I need to solve here, and to find these items to do this. That's kind of what the game is. But like the big part of this game is like the story of like learning like what the hell happened at the school. Like is actually a real. I think this game is fantastic. I really liked it. It's $20. You could beat the whole game. I think about 4 hours, maybe 5 hours, depending on how like much walking around you want to do. But like no real action. It's a sneaky game. Like more of a stealth game as far as like you want to avoid the monster. He's not there the entire time. He pops up in sections, but the main game is like just trying to like solve the puzzle solving and learning the backstory, find the notes, find the letters like and stuff, and like learning also like kind of the cool thing of like you find like little letters of like these characters that were in the school in 1991 and like kind of learn about the history and the backstory of these characters and what happened, what was going on with them. You like these like almost like a love story between these two kids here, and like these people don't like each other, and like just kind of the drama of the school at the same time. But I really liked it, and it's a cool, really cool if you are like in the mood for a spooky game and you want like kind of that like PlayStation One graphical style to it. Like this is the game for you. And like I said, it's $20. I beat it in like 2 sittings. They do a really cool thing where like it's hard to say without spoiling it, but you think you're done with the game, and then there's actually like a whole another section, and it's actually a cool, really cool, pleasant surprise, and it becomes like something like, oh, okay, this is like nothing. Whatever. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Not like a major spoiler. So you beat the game. When you finish the game as Vivian, that takes about 2.5 hours to do. You actually you unlock the mode where you play as from Amy's point of view.
Okay.
And it's really really cool. Like then you like learn about her, like she gets sucked into like basically an alternate reality, like back in time, like a alternate version of like her childhood, of like her tormented childhood, and you learn a lot about her childhood, all that. It's a great game. I highly recommend it. I don't really know how to describe this game without like making it sound like, oh my god, you gotta play this game. But if you're like really like want a great horror game with like a really cool art style with some really cool characters to you, and there's voice acting in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Highly recommend this. Very good game, and there's a touching story there to it. So I big recommend for me. That was a Tyler video game. So last but not least here, Gables. I've been playing through Silent Hill 2. I'm about a little over 12 hours in. I did look up because like I feel like I was getting pretty close to the end. I did look it up. I got like an hour and a half, 2 hours left maybe. So I'm pretty close to the end. I probably beat it. I got a little pissy. Like I don't know. Earlier in the week, I was just like in you just wake up and you're just kind of in a pissy mood.
Yeah,
you have like a day or two where you're just grumpy. I don't know. There's no real reason. You're just in a grumpy mood. I was just kind of like that. And like also like so at one of those points I was like, because I was playing through the game and I was like, it's just not clicking for me. But I was also in that pissy zone there with it, and I'm like, I don't got a reason why. I couldn't tell you why I wasn't liking the game. And then I went back, like I put the game in rest mode and I went to bed. And then overnight, my PlayStation 5 it had like a system update to do, which is fine. Like I have those turned on to do that, or like a game needs to update overnight. That's what I want to do. All right, turn it on next day to go play it. Went to go play, turned on Silent Hill 2, and like I don't know how, like I've only died a couple times and those are fine, but for some reason when like I turned the game on because I was in rest mode, I hadn't saved in like a half an hour, and it just took me back to my last save. So I lost like a half an hour gameplay. So I was like, fuck this. So I didn't go back for like 3 days. I was just in a bad mood. I'm like, I don't fuck this. I'm not in the mood to do this. And it wasn't like a lot. I was just like mostly like, it was almost more annoying because it was just like wandering around grabbing items more so than anything else. So I was kind of like pissy about it. But anyways, I finally went back, started playing it the last few days, and like it is very much like the same feeling I had almost with Evil Within, where like I remember almost it's like a decade ago, basically about this, like probably about this week, a decade ago, where before Extra Life, I did not like Evil Within a couple hours into it, and then I played more of it during Extra Life and ended up loving it, and like it was one of my favorite games ever. Um, and I'm not saying this for Silent Hill 2, but it's definitely the first couple hours. I'd say like probably the first two chapters of the game, like the walk around the streets and then the apartments. Once I got past the apartments, um, it just started clicking for me. I really liked it a lot more. It is more so what I want from like a horror game. It does a good job of like, because I don't know. I think the first part's like it's too much, like just a lot of walking back and forth, walking around, finding items and like solving puzzles stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I want like I don't mind this, but I want like a little more action to it, a little bit. Like I don't want a shooter game, but I want a little bit more to it, a little more balance. And I feel like it started to balance a little bit more in that, where like there's a lot more action. But my God, Gables, this might be one of the like not I don't want to say the scariest games of all time, but I've had more moments of like being scared in this game because those fucking mannequins. I'm so sick of these goddamn mannequins. They show up all the time. They show up out of nowhere, and then like, but like, because like they don't have heads. It's like this. It's like two torsos like sewed together from the midsection. So like they just like they have two legs on top, two legs on the bottom, but like they just hide under like a bed sometimes, and you just turn the corner, but like it's like 2/10 of a second. You just there, like, what the fuck is that? And you see it. I'm like, oh my God. And then it just jumps at you. Or like, it's just like, you're going to be walking by and like, it just perfectly hides behind something and it just fucking attacks from like, there's more times I have jumped or like, oh my God, more than any other game in my entire life because this fucking game of those goddamn mannequins. There was a point in this game, minor spoilers, like 5 hours, 6 hours in, where like you see these mannequins and they're always just like, they're either like crawling, which is fucking terrifying, or they're running at you, which is also fucking terrifying. But Gables, they're like later in the game they can walk on walls, and I saw that like I turn the light. You go to a point, you turn the light on, and you see it stand there. Like, all right, I went to go shoot it, and it walked through the light. I'm like, I audibly yelled, "They can walk on fucking walls now!" I was so mad. I'm like, no, this is bullshit. I hate this. They piss me off so fucking much. But I am like this guy that has never played a Silent Hill game other than like I played Silent Hill on PlayStation 1 when I was like 7 years old, and I was too young to play this game. A, because it's scary as shit, and also because I was too dumb to understand what the fuck I was doing in that game. And then not including PT, I guess. Those are like the closest I've come to playing Silent Hill. But I really, really like this game. It is definitely it probably it leans more so towards like the puzzle solving, and like finding the items you need to do to progress than like maybe like than it does on action. Unlike, it's closer to like a puzzle game than it is like, kind of them like Resident Evil 2 or like the remakes of like Resident Evil games or like Dead Space, stuff like that. Like those are closer to action games, or they do a good job, I guess, of like, being 50-50 or 60-40 action. This is probably closer to 60-40 puzzle solving. There's definitely like some of these puzzles they're pretty tough. Like I've been
They
stumped.
can
Like,
be, yes.
yeah, like there's definitely like Dead Space and like Resident Evil games. I feel like I never was like completely stumped at all at any points during those ones. And like they're not like impossible to solve. Like they're not like crazy puzzle games, but like I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like what I don't even like what is going on? Like they can get pretty tough, and like some trial and error. I feel like more times now it's like more just me fucking around until I figure it out. Um, yeah, I think this game, like the game is gorgeous, is scary as shit. It is up there with like one of the I think to me like it's up there like um one of the greatest horror games like made. Like we definitely have been like we are like living, and like it is like the where I talked about like last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, where like a decade ago where I was just like dying. I would have given up my firstborn for like a really great horror game other than like Evil Within. And here we are, we're like there's just we're like flooded with them, as far like like with like the Dead Space, even like Callisto Protocol was okay. Like I would have taken a Callisto Protocol like 10 years ago, and that game was like a 7. Like nowadays, I'm like if that game, Callisto Protocol would have come out a decade ago, the game would have been like fucking like an 8.5, 9 out of 10, just because we were so excited for it. And now it's like cool, like Alone in the Dark, like remake we got earlier this year, like that's like mediocre to bad. It's like now it's just kind of great. Like now we're like Gables, we got so many of them. We actually have those type of games where it's like we can have a bad survival horror game, and that's okay. It's like, or like a mediocre one. It's like it's an embarrassment of riches for like horror games. So yeah, I think it's great. I think the story, like I really like James as a character. I don't fully understand what the fuck is going on in this game. Like, his wife died 3 years ago, but now he's like, I believe that she sent me a letter, and I'm gonna go to this crazy ass town. That it looks like we're in the fucking UK or something like that. I don't know where the fuck we're at. It's just fog everywhere. Like, yeah, okay, sure. My wife died 3 years ago. I'm gonna go to this town. Fuck that. I'm sorry. You've been dead 3 years, honey. I'm moving on. I'm moving on. I pull up to that town. I'm leaving. Like, as soon as I I get to the parking spot, and I look down, and it's just fog everywhere. Or I see that girl just hanging out in the cemetery, being creepy as fuck, and I can't see 2 feet in front of me. I'm leaving. I'm out. I'm turning the fuck around. I'm driving away. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Other than that, like, I think it's fantastic. It is wonderful. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Gables, what have you been playing, buddy?
Okay, there have been a couple of games that I've been playing. Now, what I mentioned earlier is there was a deal that I did that I initially invested in on PSN, and that was the discount for the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster stuff. So that was like about 20% off. So I'm like, you know what? Might as well. I'm going to go through and buy that. But yeah, I decided that I wanted to try to play the original Final Fantasy. Why? Because I wanted to experience that game, and plus, it's important because that was one of the more important games that SquareSoft had back when that actually helped their company go and evolve to what it is right now today. And what's kind of hilarious about these pixel remasters and stuff is like they have all these type of modernized sort of features that make it more accessible and also more friendly to people that may be first starting into RPGs, or if they couldn't get into playing these type of like role-playing games back when they can actually do something a little bit like some more like bearable. One of the complaints that people have about the original Final Fantasy is it's a grind fest, and not just like in a light sense. No, we're talking about if you're in the main area and you want to try to get some of the resources that you need, or some of some of the attacks, or some of the weapons, or some of the armor stuff that you need, you gotta really battle all these different creatures and stuff, and maybe spend like about a good solid 3 to 5 hours just trying to do grinding. I've done that, I think, once before, but that was for Final Fantasy Origins on PS1, and eventually I got tired of it and I didn't return back to the original Final Fantasy. But what I like about these Pixel remasters so far is there is attention to detail and conveniences that I like. That is sort of similar to how with Final Fantasy VII, when that first came out onto like PS4 or something like that, and like they had those type of modernized features. I'm talking about turning off random encounters. I'm talking about there's actually EXP modifiers, so it's like you can actually do like say times two experience earned from enemies, or times four or something like that, and especially if it comes to gil that you earn. So quintessentially, it makes a game that could have been a slog and maybe spent like about a good solid 15 to 20 hours playing, like say for the original Final Fantasy, if you're just playing it for the first time, into like maybe at most a 7 to 10 hour game. And I really appreciated that is because when you are fighting some of these monsters, they can be kind of underwhelming if you don't know what the hell you're doing. I feel like from what I've done so far, I've definitely explored most of what I could inside of the original Final Fantasy. I mean, I've gotten the ship. I've got up to at least about level 5 like spells and stuff like that for both my black mage and my white mage. I've got some of the more like I think middle of the game type of weapons and stuff for my warrior. I'm starting to regret picking a monk is one of my character subclasses because, well, if he doesn't have like access to a lot of various like armor stuff, kind of like what the warrior class does, but he can like use like nunchucks and stuff, or like sort of like wristbands.
Bless you.
Oh, I know. It's just like tickling the back of my throat. But I am really enjoying just playing something just to chill, because it's like I was doing that with say like oh god, with the freaking Power Wash Simulator, doing that for like just a relaxing period between work days and stuff being hectic and stuff. So that's part of the reason why I got these Pixel remasters. It's like, you know what? I got some money on PSN right here. Let's see what I can find. I find the Pixel remasters that are like about $60, and it's like it's for Final Fantasy 1 through 6. I'm like, you know what? I want to play these games again, and I'm just gonna buy these like this. Try out the first game. The first game is actually pretty fun in terms of setting itself up for how you can build up like certain characters in terms of like say what type of parties you want to attend, like not just wanting to attend, well, what you want to make. Like you can make things incredibly hard upon yourself for this game, and the game has the options to do that. Like you could pick all like white mages or something like that for a run, and it just basically means, well, your characters can do next to nothing in physical attack, but yet they have all these various types of recovery abilities or this or that. One thing I did notice though is when you use certain magic attacks, whether or not it's like from a white mage or a black mage or whatever, is they have a certain amount of times you can use like a particular spell or specific like buff. Like for example, like level one has like maybe 5 or 6 uses or something like that in terms of that level one type of thing, whereas level five is like maybe 2 or 3. It's like how many times you can use that particular like like attack or buff or whatsoever. Like I'm at this moment, I'm not entirely sure where I'm at inside the game, other than the fact that I've earned the ship. I've been through a couple of different like towns and stuff. I've helped like a prince awaken from a sleep from like beating this one monster or something like that. That's sort of like is where he's at. He's at the specific castle, right? Like a deserted castle. Once you meet this guy for the first time, it's like a king that's saying, "Hey, if you could bring me this or something like that, this will break the spell of my kingdom or something." And then all of a sudden, you bring that specific item to him, and it turns out he's just an incredibly like vicious, like a troll or monster or something like that. That he wants that item for himself, so that way that he can be more powerful and this and that. And so what ends up happening is it's like you have to face him and try to defeat him, and then the item that he drops, you basically take to another kingdom and wake up their prince and stuff like that. So there's definitely some elements of building in terms of like certain fetch quests or different types of key items and stuff. I'm finding having to use more of my thinking power in order to try to accomplish some of these quests. It's been like a few days since I've actually had a chance to really delve deep into it, but it's fairly simple. It's nothing like say overly complicated in terms of a battle system or in terms of like story completion or something. But the trophies are actually fairly simple and straightforward too. Like there's trophies that unlock like say if you have 100 battles or 300 or 500. There's actually one that unlocks when you've encountered all of the monsters inside this game, which is like about 150 or so roughly. I think I've only done like about close to 50 so far. But yeah, I've been playing Final Fantasy, and then this past week I decided to give myself a little bit of a challenge run for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I've played, I know I've played this game a hell of a lot over the past like month and a half though, but for some reason I wanted to challenge myself by playing that arcade mode in the highest difficulty possible with the team I normally play as, which is Venom, Cable, and Hulk. I actually went through it on my first run on the highest difficulty. I'm talking about like the top difficulty for Marvel Fighting Collection, right? So they have like from 0 stars to 10 stars. I switched the damage to like normal damage and stuff. I pretty much like I think I did like unlimited in terms of time as well. I wanted just to really see how I could actually play through this and if I needed to adjust on things on the fly. Though towards the later half of that arcade run, that started to get a little bit more difficult as I'm having more characters try to do specific like air combos and stuff against me and this and that. But I found certain strategies to try to bypass them by switching into like say from Venom to Cable or some. Cable has his projectiles with his guns and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden he'll do this like this scimitar sort of move or something where it's basically sort of like aerial uppercut. But the Incredible Hulk, when I switch into Hulk, like with certain characters and stuff, he has this. sort of combo that he could do with his light kick, like when his air light kick or something, he could do like a 1-2, and then all of a sudden you could try to just jump and try to combo into like say a light punch or like a heavy kick or whatsoever. And finding and discovering these type of paths for my combos for these characters can be pretty fun and also kind of frustrating too, especially if you are trying to constantly use your assists to try to counteract someone, and all of a sudden they just go and fire it back to where they just executed special and just trapped you into something, you know. But yeah, it was just something off the cuff. It was just something that I just like, you know what? I've had a hard day. You know what? I just want to kick the shit out of something. I don't care. I'm gonna do it all the way and see what happens. And then my first try, I fucking just annihilated that freaking arcade mode. I mean, of course, it would be Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because that's the game I'm playing off and on for like the past 20 years. So it's like I've never attempted that. I've always had like say middle of the road difficulty, or even for the sake of completionist stuff last month, I had it on 0 stars once I beat it before lowering down the difficulty and stuff. But yeah, that's it for what I've been playing this week.
All right, man. Well, very cool. I think it's gonna wrap it up for us this week, guys. So if you like us, like the show, please like, follow, subscribe. We don't ask for any of your money, just some of your time, and you guys, you know, if you could support us by leaving a thumbs up, 5-star review, comments, subscribing to us wherever you're listening to, liking, 5-star reviews, comments, share with your friends, whatever you can do. We appreciate it. There are links down below in the description. Um, don't forget extra-life.org, extra-life.org. Go there, really great charity that we've been participating in for over a decade. That's happening next Saturday, but you can do that whenever. You don't have to do it on Saturday, but yeah, any way you guys can help out would be fantastic. But I was your host, I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yeah,
Too sweet.
too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.